The show is set to set up some of the significant storylines in the near future of the franchise and is meant to rival Marvel's newest near-perfect animated show, X-Men '97. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. For some time, there was no update on the show, but in a recent fan interaction on social media, Gunn confirmed the show's release would indeed be in 2024. When James Gunn was appointed to the position of co-CEO of DC Studios, fans had high hopes for him because of his ability to make a successful superhero franchise and his work in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Later, he announced a series of projects that got the entire fandom excited. One of the projects that has got the excitement of the DC fans is its animated series titled Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos will arrive in 2024, confirms James Gunn. With everyone putting their nose to the grindstone, they are leaving no stone unturned for criticism by the fans as well as the critics. Recently, a fan asked James Gunn via Home of DCU if Creature Commandos is still coming out this year, and the co-CEO answered, "Yep." It remains a mystery if the show will take place during World War II or the present time. Nevertheless, the project is slowly gaining momentum as it has a star-studded voice cast featuring Sean Gunn, David Harbour, Maria Bakalova, Anya Kalatra, Viola Davis, and many more voicing the characters. The show is set to set up some of the significant storylines in the near future of the franchise and is meant to rival Marvel's newest near-perfect animated show, X-Men '97. For some time, there was no update on the show, but in a recent fan interaction on social media, Gunn confirmed the show's release would indeed be in 2024. In a previous conversation with fans on Threads in April 2024, a user asked the co-CEO of DC Studios if there was any update on the show, and, the animation side, Gunn replied, "Animatics and all recording done. Waiting on the first animated cuts." Moreover, knowing Gunn, the action would be an 11 out of 10, and everything needs to be perfect because it is meant to rival MCU's X-Men '97, which has proved itself to be an instant success. With a flawless narrative in the 10 episodes of the show, MCU's animated show remained true to the source material and impressed the fans who had grown up watching the original show. This got the fandom excited, and Home of DCU, at Homiofku, added on X, that Gunn might talk more about the show at the Annecy Festival. Creature Commandos have set high hopes from the entire fandom, considering the popularity of the comics. Nevertheless, DC fans should closely follow the official channels to receive an official update regarding the release date of the show. Or perhaps, he might share a potential release date window of the show in the upcoming Annecy Festival. With the show being a step closer to completion, it looks like the 7-episode-long series, penned by Gunn, would be the first project released in their rebooted DC universe. Considering the update came after 2 months, it can be expected the show will get a potential release date either in September or around Halloween. James Gunn teases fans that he is already working on his next directorial DC Universe project that is connected with Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn has a huge responsibility on his shoulders. The co-CEO of DCU Studios has the task of rejuvenating DC's universe of live-action adaptations, a decision that was imperative after the lackluster performance of the DCU. To his advantage, Gunn has a lot of experience. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 director knows a thing or two about turning around movies that are going sideways. He did a fantastic job with the Suicide Squad. Many back him to change the fortune of an entire universe. James Gunn's run at the helm of DCU might have already begun with Creature Commandos, but the real litmus test of the DCU's success will be Superman. The David Corenswet starrer has a lot riding on it. For starters, Gunn isn't holding back. Superman is arguably one of DC Comics' most loved characters. Kicking things off with the Son of Krypton story was the best bet. Add to that the fact that James Gunn is himself taking the reins of the flick in his own hands. His record as a director is no mean feat really. And the Superman director wants to take no chances. The tone of the movie will set the tone for the franchise's future. In a DC press conference, Gunn revealed that he had already started working on what would be his next venture in the franchise. And he has dropped a major hint for what it could be. He said, "The DCU's confirmed roster includes a slew of movies and series, ranging from the brave and the bold to lanterns. And new projects are being added to the roster every day." With James Gunn and Peter Safran in charge of the entire universe, it doesn't come as a shock that the 58-year-old won't be able to take a hands-on approach with each project. But that won't keep him on the sidelines for long. with the Rachel Brosnahan starrer receiving mixed reviews from the screenings, the fate of the franchise really hangs in the balance. But Gunn has already made a plan for the way ahead. And he has begun focusing on his next project. Pinpointing what he's working on is a fool's errand at the moment. All we know for sure is that the project is one within the DCU. And the entire team has their eyes glued to what pans out on July 11, 2025, when Superman will hit theaters. I'm writing and directing something else that would be the next directing thing. It's connected with Superman. The statement has sent fans into a spin, wondering what it could really be. With Gunn confirming that it's not a Superman sequel, fans have been left without an answer. The 2025 flick focuses on a host of characters, including Green Lantern and Hawkgirl amongst others. Unlike the MCU, James Gunn is taking a different approach to greenlighting projects, which could have saved Disney from the Blade fiasco. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Since taking over the reins at DC, James Gunn has been pretty vocal regarding his prioritization of writers and screenplays over anything else, which continues to be the driving force behind DCU projects. With the DCU set to commence next month, starting with Gunn's passion project Creative Commandos, Gunn has clarified that, moving forward, future DCU announcements will heavily rely on writers. Not only does this ensure that storytelling will be given higher focus in the new DCU, but this structure could have potentially solved the MCU's issues surrounding Mahershala Ali's Blade movie. Post-Endgame, Disney has massively increased MCU's yearly output, but this has conversely impacted the quality of its releases, as VFX artists and writers are not being given sufficient time to meet the standard. Despite being announced years ago, Blade has sustained several delays due to last year's Hollywood strike and script issues, and with Marvel taking it off the 2025 slot, the future of a standalone Blade looks bleak. Despite being announced years ago, Blade has sustained several delays due to last year's Hollywood strike and script issues, and with Marvel taking it off the 2025 slot, the future of a standalone Blade looks bleak. But in contrast to the MCU's way of doing things, James Gunn, who is pretty well versed with how Disney operates, clarified, via threads, that they aren't going to roll the ball on a project until they've got a finished script in hand. It won't be exactly like Marvel because nothing is green-lit before we have a finished script. Although it can't be said for certain what the future holds for the new DCU, writers being put in the driving seat seems promising, as the MCU is still struggling with Mahershala Ali's Blade, he told Collider. Until we have a screenplay that I'm totally happy with, that movie is not going to get made, no matter what it is. So, we have been really fortunate with some screenplays. At the end of the day, if we're happy with the story that we're telling, that's what matters most. And once The Brave and the Bold gets to that point, then we'll make the movie. On the bright side, the DCU has wasted no time in greenlighting releases like Ana Nogueira's Supergirl and The Lanterns after being satisfied with the drafts from the writers. When asked about the progress on DCU's The Brave and the Bold, one of the very first projects that was unveiled during the initial revelation of Chapter 1, James Gunn expressed that there are no intentions to rush the writers. Elaborating on it, the Superman filmmaker reiterated the importance of writers in the new regime, adding, "Everything in DC is going to be based on the writers."